Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Dr. Neslyn Radio Works World, your passion show host. I am so delighted to be with you this morning. And I tell you something, we in the UK, we are absolutely enjoying a heat wave, and it is just so wonderful. And this morning, I have Rose, who is joining us. Rose, good morning. Welcome to you.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And Rose, just tell the listeners, where are you calling from?
I'm actually in the West Midlands. You would say Sandwell, part of the West Midlands, outside of Dudley.
Brilliant. And so, Rose, you know that this is a passion show. So, Rose, what are you passionate about?
Wow, well, many of things, but my main passion is actually helping people to become more aware, knowing who they are. That's what my main passion is. I think life, basically, most of us go through life not knowing who we are, what we want, where we want to be going, and we just rumble through life. And that's something I'm quite passionate about, because once you open up to that, you tend to see life in a different way. And I say that brings that passion and that joy that you want.
Wonderful. And you know, they say when you are living the life that you love and loving what you do, your abundance flows. So, how is your abundance flowing from your passion?
Wow. Well, for me, abundance flows in so many different ways. I'm actually working with people, through my own business and working for a charity. And I found that the people that I'm attracting to me, that's where life is abundant, also through family, just life in general on a daily basis. I would say to you, I can't believe how life is so happy. Just things just seem to happen. And even when you think they're not going right, they just turn around right because of that abundance, because of that passion. Things just come to you unexpectedly.
Wonderful. So, Rose, what are some of the things that your clients say to you as a result of you loving what you do and you doing what you love?
Well, one of the main things I get from most of my clients is that how I basically what they say to me, if they come to me with where they're stuck or they can't see another way, they always say to me that I will give them 99 ways to do one thing which they've only looked at in one direction. So yes, so I'd always say, well, what if we did this a different way? What if you're looking at this way? What if it's seen from this perspective? And they were like, well, I never thought about that. I never actually thought that could mean that. Well, I say, well, it doesn't have to mean that, but it's just giving you that different perspective and being aware of, is it because of how you feel, or is it how you're seeing the situation? Or do you know what I mean? It's just giving them different perspectives. And that's what they always say. They come to me and they leave with that different perspective of how to, if they want to change their career, if they've got issues within their family, if it's just the case of feeling happier. They always say, I give them a different perspective.
Wonderful. So, what is it that makes your purpose a purpose?
Sorry, do you want to just repeat that question? Sorry.
What is it that makes your purpose a purpose? So, I know you're passionate about what you do and you're very clear about your purpose. So, what is it that makes your purpose a purpose?
Well, I think that's because I had gone down that road and sort of wandering through life myself and not really always wanting to do more, always feeling that I could do more, but never knowing how I could, because I didn't really know who I was. I wasn't aware of who I was. I wasn't aware of my gifts. I could tell you about what I was doing as a label and where I should fit because what other people told me, but I couldn't see where I fit for who I was. And, I would say I'm quite quirky anyway, and where my quirks had a purpose. And what I found is that because now I'm aware of myself so much more, I'm able to draw that out of other people. And that's why I think it's become a passion, because it's something that I've gone through myself, and I can see how I was holding myself back because I didn't have that awareness. And I was quite lucky to have somebody who drew that out of me, and a lot of people along my life's journey who seen something in me that I didn't see in myself because I wasn't aware of who I was and what I had. And that's why I feel this is such a passion, because there's a lot of people who are actually in the same place as me thinking, well, I want to do more. How can I do more? Oh, I'll never be able to do it because this is where I am in life. This is where I've come from. This is who my family. How can I do that? But the thing is that for me, for it being passion for me to show those people and bring them out of themselves, to show that they have a place in this world, and every one of us are a key to making things better.
I just love what you have just said about, being aware of who you are, because that's one of the fundamental things that we do through Radio Works World, the people sharing their stories. And by sharing your story, somebody resonates with your story. And as you share your story, you become even more aware of the gifts that you have out there to share in the world. So we would really love you to come down to London, to one of our Make the News London, just to see how we do things. And then you make the news up in Sandwell. We'll come to you. So,
Oh, wow.
you know,
That's brilliant.
but only on condition that you will have 50 to 60 people in the room. We'll bring some of our own. But you've got such a wide network up there. We would love to come up there and have Rose make the news Sandwell. Would you love that?
I would. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Okay, well, I'm going to be sending you the link for the next Make the News London, and we do that every month. I'm here, and we're also, you have met Andelores. We're going to be doing Make the News Bristol, so I trust that you will come down to Bristol and support Andelores as she makes the news down in Bristol. So, who have been some of the influential people in your life, Rose?
Oh, who have there been? Oh, there's been so many different people who, on my journey, at the time, I wouldn't have thought they were influential, but they have been. I have to be honest, my biggest influence has actually been my grandma. She's no longer with us, um, but her wise words, I didn't understand them as a young girl, but now I've got older, a lot of them really are pertinent to my situation and where I've come from and how I'm actually helping people. And so really, even though she's not been with me for many of years, she's still a very strong influence. Professionally, there's been many of people. There's been many of people. I do work with some other coaches, and I've done a lot of training with them. Nikki V, they do a coaching society here in Birmingham, and they have been very good with their training. So I've done master coach training with them and that. But there's also been family members, people who have actually been very inspirational, who's not done things as much as they've wanted, but they've actually been very supportive and pushing of me. So, yeah.
Wonderful. So, what do you value most, Rose?
What do I value most? I have to say honesty. I do value honesty, not just from others, but for myself, because I think it does start with ourselves. We have to be honest with ourselves, where we are, what we want, and even what we're fearful of. And I think that is the start of us actually finding our passion, because sometimes we're actually scared of the thing we want to do, most. So yeah, honesty, being honest with ourselves, and though that then falls into other people as well, because once you're honest with yourself, you're automatically going to do it with others.
I love that. And so, what is your definition of greatness?
My definition of greatness, oh, I think just being yourself, being able to be yourself, never offending anybody for being yourself. Don't feel that you are being offensive for being yourself. I think that is the best greatness you can, and using all your skills to help others and to help yourself to move forward. I think that's a definition of greatness. Many people are great in where they are, but they don't see that because they think the definition of greatness is money and, fame. But no, the definition of greatness is definitely being yourself. For me, that is being yourself, using the skills you have on a daily basis to help yourself and help others. That's what I feel greatness is to me.
Just letting your light shine, baby.
Definitely.
we all have greatness within us. And as you said, knowing yourself and just being who you are. Because, as Oscar Wilde said, be who you are, be yourself. Everybody else is taken.
I love that. That's brilliant. Thank you.
So what is it that gave, I know your grandmother has been significant, but what is it that gave you the confidence to step into your greatness?
What gave me the confidence? Oh, that's something I've never really thought about. I think one day I just decided, I suppose, life, where I was in life, raising 3 children, a single parent at the time, going through a bad divorce, going through very, financial issues. I suppose my own personal story of where I was, and just didn't want to see that for myself, and I didn't want my girls to have that either. So I think that was one of the things, for me, that made me get to the point where if I don't do something now, when will I? Now was as good as any time. So at that time was my reasons, really. Yeah, it was mainly where I was, and it wasn't the place. I didn't feel that place was a comfortable place for me. It was not I didn't feel it was the right place. I felt that I was letting myself down a bit. So then that was where I said, well, it's now or never. And stepping out to do something was better than to stay where I was and not do anything at all, or to step out and fail was better than to sit where I was. So that was really what it was for me. Yes.
Wow. So what would you say to others out there who are dithering, where their heart is actually saying something to them? They know what makes their heart sing, but they're dithering in stepping forward. What would you say to those people?
Trust that instinct. The first instinct is always right. Don't start to overthink it, because that's what stops us, that overthinking. Follow it and just see where it leads you. Just trust it, because it's not going to lead you anywhere bad. It's going to lead you to a good place. And then even if it doesn't, what happens is that sometimes things do not work out the way you expect, but they always work out better. So that's what I would say. Trust that first instinct and go with it. Take that step. See where it will lead you. It's always got to be better than where you are.
I so want to hear you share that even more with our people, about trusting and stepping out and stepping into what makes your heart sing.
It is, yeah, I think sometimes we, as I say, we hold ourselves back because of that, not knowing if we're, a lot of us, if we're good enough. We use a lot of things in our past to keep us where we are, but most of those things are actually what make us who we are, to actually do the thing we need to do. Those things are actually educating us, and most of us think it's dampening us down, but actually it's like making us and building us who we are. It's how we see those things in our life. They either make you stronger or weaker. It's depending on where you're looking at it. So yeah, I'm very passionate about, if anyone's out there who's listening and they are in that place and they've got the passion in there and it's saying, come on, step out, but you're saying, no, I'm not sure, just take that step. You will always protect yourself. Yourself will never go against you or harm you. So just go with that feeling, go with it. Just take that step. Trust yourself. Trust that higher self within you, that side of you that knows what you can do.
And life will always look after you.
It
And
will.
always good enough.
Yeah, that is correct. That is correct.
You're always good enough. So, Rose, what is the legacy that you want to leave?
Wow, what's the legacy? Well, I would like to, from my coaching and that, I would actually like to set up a training centre for young people, not just having the personal development side, but the skills for them to actually go through life and actually find their passion, because I feel in the education system, it's great to a point, but they don't always allow them to find their passion and be themselves. And that's what one of the things I would do, and to have that left as a legacy, really. That's really the thing I would like to do, so that young people have somewhere where they can actually fulfill their passion.
Oh, that makes you almost want to cry, doesn't it?
I know. Every time I think of it, that's exactly how I feel. you know, and I feel that before I leave this world, that's what I would like to do. If it's only one person I could help finding their passion, I think I'd be happy. And I think I've already done the more than one person, but that's always, I've always said one person, one person, one person. Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure that you're aware of this, but through Radio Works World, we have a mastermind program. And what we do, we support you to think very clearly about the legacy that you want to leave. We profile you, we support you to get your message out there, and to think about where you can get additional support and resources. And our mastermind program is absolutely brilliant. Marina has got such a lot of experience around getting your message out there. And we would love you to join our mastermind program, and we'll talk more about you. But, certainly we'll support you to get that message out there. And importantly, to write about it too. So, you are be seen, be heard, as Marina says. And, we'd love to have even more support to you and to influence you to move to where you want to step into that legacy.
That sounds fantastic.
So we look
Yeah.
forward to seeing you at our Make the News. and, and you're participants, you see. So when you come, you will be sharing
Yes.
your story. There is no observers at our programs. When you come, you get some time to share your story as well. And as you share your story, more and more you polish it. And as you polish it, you find others who want to collaborate and cooperate with you. So, Rose, this is my last question to you.
Yes.
Here you are. You have had a fantastic life. And this is the time now, many, many, many years from now, when you are being transitioned into the other life. And your friends and your family are by your bed. And you are just blissful and peaceful. And someone say to you, Rose, what are your three truths? What would you say are your three truths?
My three truths.
Yes.
Hmm. Well, one would be to know thyself, definitely. Um, love life. I would say that would be love life, know thyself first, love life, and love God. It has to be love God and trust Him.
Wonderful. So know thyself, love life, trust God, trust the divine. Well,
That's right.
Rose, thank you so much for being on the Passion Show. You need to know that listeners all over the world have been listening to you sharing your passion. And it's
Wow.
just wonderful for you to spend this time with us. So until then, goodbye to you and goodbye to our listeners. Thank you.
Thank, thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Wow. That was. I just I just done that interview just like myself. That is really what I am passionate about.